Otish.com. Learn anywhere, anytime.
Hello all, this is Krishna Kedia this side. I am going to be a faculty for Performance Management F5 ACCA paper. We are slightly going to discuss regarding what ACCA and what F5 is. Let's start. Performance Management F5 is not only about costing, as many people just misinterpret it as costing, but it is not only costing, it is much more than that. Just giving you a slight discussion regarding it. It is basically the management, appraisal, evaluation, etc. of performance of individuals, organizations, etc. As you can see, it is much more than costing. We can plant costing into these things, like regarding performance targets, we can use costing techniques. Performance evaluation, we can use costing techniques, but it is not just limited to costing. It is much more than that. So let's not misconcept it that it is only a costing thing. It is much more than that. Now discussing things individually, I'll just give a brief knowledge about what are we going to cover up in performance management. Firstly, regarding some work that is to be done, we need to see work identification. We need to see first work identification, like who will do the work. For example, we are in a car manufacturing industry. Now in a car manufacturing industry, for example, we need a manager to operate our business. Now to get that manager, we need to first find out what is the role that the manager will do, what are the sectors that the manager will control, and what are the areas that he will be responsible for. That comes under this point, work identification. After we have found out what the work is to be done, then next we need to see that work allocation. Who is going to do the work? As we discussed, when we see who our manager will be, what our manager is expected to do, after that we need to see who will do the work, who will be our manager, what qualities he should have, what basic qualification he needs to have, and everything. So that comes under the second point, work allocation. After that, it comes the performance target. Performance target. Now performance target, it basically means that our company is expecting to make 1000 cars in a year. So performance target means that target which our manager is expected to fulfill. 1000 cars in a year is one target. Another target can be profit targets, like 1 crore rupees per month as a profit that the manager is expected to give, or any other such target that we are expecting from the manager is coming under the third point, that is performance target. Now this is a very important stage, because basically this determines that our manager is working as per our expectation or not. For example, again the first example that I gave regarding 1000 cars. Now if our manager is able to work and he generates or produces and sells 1200 cars, now that is over par. That means it is a premium thing that is going on. The manager is working more than what we are expecting from him. So this difference of 200 is something additional to the whole organization. Now we need to appraise the manager on this basis. We need to give him some benefits on the benefit extra that he is providing to the company. Hence this performance target is one of the very essential points and one of the very well to be thought of sector while are judging the whole performance of any organization. Secondly, if he doesn't produce 1200 cars, if he just does work for 1000 cars, we need to now see that the manager is working as per our expectation. That means it's a par efficiency that the manager is having, and there is no issue in this one also. We are expecting him to give us 1000 cars, and he is giving us 1000 cars. There is no issue in that. But the problem comes when he delivers only 800 cars. Now this deficit of 200. Now we, as the owner of the company, or the shareholders of the company, we need to find out why there is a deficit of 200. Because as I just told you, this 1000 is very well thought of. It's not a random judgment that people do. They spend a lot of money into it. They set a lot of money to set the targets, and this target is a very well thought of target in the whole organization and the whole industry and the whole market. Like for example, currently we are facing COVID-19 issue. Now COVID-19 or earthquake or any other issue that leads to stoppage of the operations in any organization or any part of the world, it leads to downgrading of efficiency. Now what does this mean? That we are expecting to work for 1000 cars in normal operations. Now if we are not able to work for 1 quarter, I'm again repeating, if we are not able to work for 1 quarter, it means that our 1/4 of the total expected sales is going down. That means 250 from the expected is going down. Hence we are only expecting to work now on normal operations at 750. And if in this scenario the manager has provided us 800 cars, then he is more than efficient in this scenario also. So it's not just comparing the initial standard set or initial target set for our comparisons, it's the revised target also that has to be seen. If there is no such issue that I just discussed, that the market is operating very efficiently, there is no issue in the market, or there is no such problem, then this part doesn't exist. We just straight away need to see that the 1000 cars that we are expecting from the manager is not able to deliver it. Hence he is not working efficiently. Now we need to control his performance. Either we need to increase that manager's efficiency by staff training, or providing him with good workforce, and providing him with good equipments, good machineries, more investments, or something that is required to get our targets achieved. Because this is not an unattainable target. As I again said, there is huge investment done to get this 1000 cars number. So to not fulfill this target, there has to be some reason. There has to be some practical reason that is going on that we need to address. This is a very important stage in our discussion, and this is one of the most important parts that we will discuss in our further discussions on performance management. After we get to our stage number 3, then when we have set the targets, the next part is performance evaluation. Performance evaluation, it basically means the 3 numbers that we just discussed: 1200, 1000 or 800, whatever be the scenario. This is this part, performance evaluation. Now when we compare this 1000 with this 1200, we are evaluating the performance of the manager. Now has he worked efficiently, has he not worked efficiently? We just need to compare our targets and the actual numbers. These target in general terms are also called standards. The standards and actual numbers are compared, and we evaluate the performance of the managers. This difference is also known as variances. Now this is a very, very important topic, very scoring topic in performance management, and also in real life. To get into the core problem of any situation, you need to go to variances. Like material variance, labor variance, variable overhead variance, fixed overhead variance. These are some things that we'll study. It's not a difficult topic. See, I'm again telling you, performance management is one of the most scoring topics, a most scoring subject, I personally feel. It's just that students misinterpret the questions and make silly mistakes. That is the only issue that students face. If you study the question well, if you get to the questions very well, you won't face an issue. For solving the question on exam purpose basis, for getting good marks, you won't face an issue. And also in long term, in real life also, you'll get a practicality regarding what are we expecting to do, what are we expecting to deliver in our real life working scenarios also. When we have done the evaluation part, next thing that comes is performance, rewards and appraisal. Now exactly telling you what this mean is that, again I'm taking the same example as it will be easy for you. 1000 cars was the target, 1200, 1000, 800. Let's just consider this one first. Let's just consider this one once. This 1200. If my manager has given me more than what I am expecting from him, we have to give him some bonus. That is how organization work in every scenario. They are providing more to their people if the people are providing more to the company. It's a win-win situation for the both parties involved. The company also, the manager also. It's a win-win situation. Like company gains more on 200 cars, manager will now gain a part of this 200 cars profit also. Now that will be mutually agreed. That is not a certain number. It's a mutually agreed number. Like there is no exact number for it, like 10% of the whole profit or 5% of the whole profit. There is no such commission on that, on such basis. It's a mutually agreed thing between the company and the manager. Coming back, if 1000 cars are expected, he has delivered 200 cars. That means more than efficient. So we need to provide him some rewards. Now when we are comparing the 1000 and 1200 numbers and giving him some reward, we are appraising him for his work. And so this is what the manager are depending on. See, a smart person, a smart manager is not working for the salary. He is working for the bonus. And there have been many examples in this world that people are earning, around 10 times, 20 times than their salary. I personally know many people who are earning at least 5 times their salary as bonuses and commissions and incentives. And that is all depending on their work performance. So your stage number 4, stage number 5 is one of the most important things that is happening. And also stage number 3, because you need to understand the targets. So target, evaluation and appraisal is one of the most important things. Now what if the situation is this one, 1000 and 800. What if the situation is 1000 and 800? Now this is not a good condition for the manager. Now what happens? You can't, it's not generally taken as a penalty scenario. Organizations don't charge penalty to their managers on down efficiency, because see, the step number 2 that we discussed, job allocation or people finding. I'll just show you that sheet. Work allocation. Now this stage is very well thought of. It's not like you just post it on your some social networking or some website and you get people for your work. It's a very well thought of process. Many people spend lakhs and crores of rupees to get the best manager for the company. So it's not that if you are only able to give 800 cars as your output on 1000 target, that basically doesn't mean that the manager is at a fault. I mean, it may be that it's his mistake, but it's not necessarily his fault. It may be the scenario's fault. It may be the conditions that are not going as per expectation. It may be the machinery that are not going as per expectation. So what I'm ultimately trying to say is you can't penalize your manager. Okay, companies can have some internal policy for that also, that if the managers are not able to deliver what they are expected to, they will be charged penalty on the downgrading. That can be a possibility also, but let's discuss what the general scene is. If you are expecting to produce 1000 cars and you are just producing 800 cars, then there is something to be controlled. That we will discuss in point number 6. Performance control. Here we need to see that why there is a downgrading in the work. Downgrading doesn't mean quality downgrading or something. It's a mixture of what we are expecting and what we are not able to get. 1000 cars is what we are expecting and we are only getting 800. So this 200 cars as a deficiency is our downgrading. Correct? Now we need to find out the reasons why there is a downgrading. Is it the manager's fault or the organization's fault or the conditions fault or something? So we just need to get to the problem and get it sorted. Now you study all these 6 points, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. This overall makes performance management. But luckily for you, for an exam perspective, this is the 4th part that we will see. what is the work to be done, who is the person that will do, that is not a concern right now. So from your exam perspective, you will see these 4 points: targets, evaluation, appraisal, and control. This is, the whole curriculum is based on these 4 points. They are being discussed in various ways, various manners, that will cover everything on that, will cover the 100% curriculum. But I personally feel that you should learn from the perspective of your real life, not just for clearing your exams. Because ultimately, if you understand things, it is very easy to cope up in the future also with multiple things. And it is also very easy for you to get success in your life and get a very good growth in your life in regular phases. Now, continuing the same part, we take our discussion further. We start with our performance target. Now, first thing that comes in our mind, how do we set targets? Now, we need to understand that targets are not set in a single day. It's a huge time period thing. It takes a lot of time. It takes months together to set some targets in your life. For example, when you just passed out class 10th, or you were on that phase, then you had 2 options: science and commerce. Now you just didn't get a dream someday that you should go for science or commerce. It's a very well thought of process that I should do for science or I should go for commerce. Depends on your future objective. Like, what do you want to do in your future? You want to do something related to medical, engineering, or something like that, you go for science. If you want to go for CA, ACCA, or some other business things or MBAs or anything that you want to do, you go for commerce. Or also, that is something that you decide on your own. You talk to your parents, you talk to many people, you talk to many consultants. It's not a single day thing. I'm just trying to explain that it's not just single day thing. This is your real life goal. Ultimately, this decides your future initially. And any decision that you take from the age, right from when you are aged 18, any decision that you take, it's a momentary decision that changes your life. This is what one of my faculties told me, that any decision that you take from the age of 18 to 28, 29 is something that will change your life. We don't realize it, but it is the fact. Similarly, any decision that you take in an organization also changes your whole life. A small mistake, a small right decision can change the whole face of an organization. Hence, any target that is set, any goal that is set, it's not a single day thing, it's a huge period thing. If you have investment thousands of crores of rupees, you won't take any judgment lightly. You will take a lot of time to get into judgments. That is my ultimate point. Now, what I'm trying to say is, if I'm not setting a goal on a very, easy manner, I'm taking much time onto it, I'll take much calculations also into also. I'll repeat, I'll take much calculations into it also. It's not that I'll just use some formulas and do some calculations. I'll use much of calculations. I'll use many people to do the calculation. I will use calculations of many people to get to my goals. Now, what do we need to calculate? How do we calculate? It's all what we will study. See, it looks vast. It's not vast. It's upon your understanding. I'm again saying performance management is one of the most scoring subjects that I feel in skills level of ACCA. Now, it's up to you how you take on it. People say it's very difficult, not able to understand questions of section C and all that. We'll discuss about the papers, what section A, B and C is all about. But just giving you a slight knowledge about it. Section C is long questions, 20 marks, we get 2 questions. So what I'm trying to say is, people misinterpret the questions. People don't understand the questions very easily. It's quite, complicated questions are also there. But if you understand the concepts well, you know what you need to do in the question. And that is what I will help you to do it. I will help you to understand the concept, and it's up to you how you take it. It's your efforts ultimately. So we need to understand the concepts well. If we understand the concepts well, we definitely going to get a good score in the exam. That is the primary thing. Secondary thing, if we understand the concept well, we use it for the huge life period of yours. It's not just for today, it's a huge life period for yours. Getting back to the topic, now how do I set targets? What do I use in our calculations to get into the target? Now, in our discussion regarding this, in our discussion regarding performance management, our ACCA F5 paper, we will discuss these things in target setting. Number 1, different costing techniques. Now what does different costing techniques mean? Different costing techniques you must have studied, or if it's a fresh start to you, if you have got exemptions in your previous papers, then it is a huge possibility that you may not have studied. We will discuss it from the base itself. We won't take anything very lightly. We will give time to our subject. We will take time. Absorption costing, marginal costing, relevant costing, and much more. There are many such costing techniques. It's not just limited to 3 or 4 or 5. Many costing techniques are there. Now we need to develop the cost of the product or service that we are providing through these techniques. We need to understand that there is cost involved in anything that we deliver, and we have to make calculations regarding it. We have to do some additions, deletions. We have to consider many condition situations regarding that, and considering everything, we get to some final numbers that we are expecting to generate. So for that we need to understand these things, and we'll discuss on it very deeply as we go on further. I'm just going to give you a base structure of what we are going to do. After we are done with costing techniques, next we need to find out different pricing techniques. Different pricing techniques. You must have experienced in your life that when any new phone is launched in the market, for example it's a iPhone. When launched in the market, I'm taking a assumption that it is costing you $600. Initially, first piece is costing you $600, the fresh model. Now as time goes on, the prices fall to $500, prices fall to $400, and so on. Now practically telling you, if I offer you the same iPhone which is costing $600 for just $100, many people won't buy it. And this is what actually frankly happened also. Many years back, Apple launched an iPhone that costed roughly $100, and it didn't go well in the market. It was not that iPhone was not good. It was not like that. The only problem was people were habituated that iPhone is very expensive phone, and some things or some services or goods are such that if you started with a base price or a low price, people assume it to have a poor quality than what others are delivering. Now $600 costing iPhone, it was not a similar product. See, I'm not saying that it had the same feature or everything, but basically why this phone didn't work that well is because it had something people had in their mind, that mobile phones, as expensive they are, as good quality they are. This is called scheming pricing. This is called scheming pricing. What this means that when you launch a product, and if people are habituated to pay more for it, if people are habituated to accept that the more expensive it is, the higher quality it provides, these techniques are called scheming pricing. Hence, any mobile phone you take, the initial price of that mobile phone is much higher than the mobile phone's price after 5 to 6 months. Yes, there are reasons of competition, there are reasons of new models coming in the market, your product getting outdated. These reasons are still there, but the most important reason is this scheming pricing technique. People assume that any phone that is cheap initially is having some or the other other specification down, and this is what mobile companies use, and they use this skimming technique to basically price their products. Now this is one of the costing techniques that we will study. We will study everything very deeply. I'm just going to give a brief description as I just described. I'll just write down on a fresh page. First one is skimming pricing. Example, phones. Number 2, competitive pricing. Now this is something that is generally followed all over the market, giving a product at the market price. Giving a product at the market price. anything that you take up, there is a product X in the market trading for 100 rupees. I develop a product Y, a new product, and I start to give it at 95, 96, something within the range of 100. It is not having a much difference than this 100 rupees. This is called competitive pricing. It's not a very difficult topic. A simple understanding: competitive pricing, giving a goods in the market at the market price. Simple understanding is that. Number 3, penetrating pricing. Penetrating. Now what does this mean? This means that you want to penetrate to the market. You want to enter the market at any cost. Hence, same example, X, 100 rupees, you develop a product Y, now you start to give it at 60. Huge difference. Now how this 60 is developed, we'll see that. But get the simple understanding, you are going to offer something much cheaper than what the existing similar products are being traded for. I'm again saying, you are going to give it for a much cheaper price than what the existing products are being traded for. This is called penetrating pricing. Now there are many other such pricing techniques that we'll study more in our discussions. I'm just giving you a brief idea about what we are going to study. Again, getting you back to the topic, we are currently doing performance target, and how do we get to the targets? Firstly, we discussed pricing techniques. No, we discussed costing techniques, and then we just discussed pricing techniques. Now next, what we need to see, this is the practical approach that we'll see. Market situation. This is the practical aspect that we need to see, and you have a very good advantage when you are studying ACCA. ACCA is one of the most practical subjects that I personally have come across when I have seen, gone through the books and everything. It gives you practical approach to many things. It analyzes the market and gives it in your questions also. That is a good thing that is going on. Market situation, it means your market inflation, GDPs, your current political situation, etc. These situations are hampering an industry a lot. Hampering or getting it enhanced, it is the way you use the market situation basically. If you are able to use market situation to your personal benefit, then you gain in that market also. But if you are not able to adjust yourself with the market requirements, you'll ultimately go out of the market very soon. So inflations, GDPs, political situation, these all things are to be understood very well. It's like every single point, every single inflation point, every single GDP point in political situation, or legal frameworks, etc. Anything that you come across in the news or anything, it impacts your business in some way or the other. Like if there is some issues regarding imports, the local market will go very good. The local production will go very good. Similarly, if there is something that is going to enhance my imports, then my local market or local production will go down. So every situation in the market has some or the other relation with our business that we miss in our daily life. Has some or the other relation that we need to understand. So the third aspect in performance target is market situation. Now when we understand these whole three things, costing technique, pricing technique and market situation, we will be able to set our targets very easily. Now when we study all these three things, we will be done with our performance target aspect. Correct? Now when we will be done with our performance target aspect, next we will need to see performance evaluation. Performance evaluation. It's very simple that we, again taking you the same example, 1000 cars, 1200, 1000, 800. Now what are we doing actually here? We are just comparing our targets to our actual figures. Any of the three, like this or this or this. We're just comparing our targets which are actual figures. Correct? What I'm trying to say to you is that it is not necessary that this target will be followed for the whole year. If it is done, no problem. Simple situation, 1000 cars we are expecting, and we delivered, for example, 200 cars. Very simple thing, done. But what if we are facing a situation when the whole country or the whole world is facing a lockdown situation as we faced in COVID-19, again I'm repeating, if we face that whole situation again, then for example your 1 quarter sales are going down. How many quarters are there in a year? Like many people get it to 3. I mean, this is 4. Don't get it confused, it's always 4. Anything having a fourth part is a quarter. So 12 months divided by 4 gives you 3 months. There are 3 months in a quarter, total in a year there are 4 quarters. Correct? So my quarterly expectation of sales will be 1000 divided by 4, this will be 250. So if 1 quarter I am unable to work, it means that now I will only expect to deliver 750 cars. Correct? This is called revised target. Revised target. Now how do we get a revised target? We use our initial target and we use our market situation and we get to revised target. So ultimately, you see, you get market situations now that we just discussed: inflation, GDPs, political framework, legal requirements, anything. So these situations are going to lead to somewhere revised targets. And now if I compare, I'll compare this 750 with my actual figures. Am I clear? A very simple topic, see, performance evaluation. We just need to see our targets and actual figures. Now targets can be both way. It can be my first target or my revised target, as we just discussed, either 1000 or 750, that we will see as per the situation, as per the question framework or the practical situation. After we are done with performance evaluation, what is the next thing that we need to do? After we are done with performance evaluation, what is the next thing we need to do? If you can recall it, we need to appraise the person. Appraisal. Performance appraisal. Performance appraisal basically, giving to the manager what you got more apart from it. We are again going to compare a situation: 1000 cars, 1200 cars, for example. The company gained over 200 cars more. Company was expecting to deliver 1000, they delivered 1200. So 200 cars more is what we are able to trade in the market. So the profit that you are earning from this 200 car, I mean, if you give a part of it to the manager and obviously the employees, part of it to the manager and employees, they will be much happy to work in your organization. A world-renowned example is Tata. Like, it is a very famous quotation: if you want to invest at least once in your lifetime, invest in Reliance, and if you want to do job once in your life, do job in Tata companies. Tata companies take care of their employees in a very good manner. They take care of you as their own person. Basically, they don't treat you as your employee, they treat you as their family member. So why is there such quotes regarding Tata or such thoughts about Tata? Is because they're keeping a part of their profits to the employees and managers also, on the basis of their performance, obviously. So if you want to bind people to yourself, if you want people to work for your organization in a long run also, you need to have this policy in your mind, that if you're earning more because of your people, you need to give something to them as a return of their work or their performance. Salary is there, salary has to be given. And above that, if you want to motivate the people, most important, it's a motivational factor. It's a very motivational factor if you are giving something out of your profits also to them. So performance appraisal is basically comparing the targets and actual figures. You do the evaluation part, and after evaluation, on the basis of what extra the company is generating, you need to give something to the people. This is called appraisal. What if the situation is 1000 expected and 800 only delivered? Now there is no extra gain. There is no extra gain. Now, because there is no extra gain, I discussed in the initial phase also, you are not expected to, put penalties to your people for if they are not able to deliver. Now this is what needs to be very well understood, that okay, you do the calculation that how much we are short from our expected profit or expected sales and everything, but what is the main objective of this calculation? That how do we improve ourselves? Rather than penalizing somebody, how do we improve ourselves? That we discussed in the last part, that is performance control. Here we see only those aspects that improve my work, that control my work. How I can improve my work, how as a manager I can improve my work, how my people can improve their work. Everything is what we discuss in performance control. And when we study all these parts, your whole curriculum will be over. This is what you will study in performance management. This whole discussion was just about what you are going to study. It's not related to what, it is obviously related to what you will study. But ultimately what I'm trying to say is, it is just a very, brief topic talking about what we are going to study. And we will spend good time with our time will be very good if, both of us cooperate. If you do the hard work that is expected, you will definitely deliver very good in your exams and in your real life. It will be a very good situation for both of us. This is what we will study, and we are done with the description of what we are going to deal with in the next few days in our ACCA F5 curriculum.
थप जानकारीका लागि लग अन टु www.otish.com. सम्पर्क नम्बर, इमेल आइडी. धन्यवाद.